Hey, how's it going, everyone? Just back again with another one of these sequence of the end times videos. And so just reading Psalms 18. And so 18 is, to me, an incredible number. Just every time I'm reading a book that has 18 in it, 18 chapters, I'll look, for judgment and destruction and all that kind of stuff, because 18 is code for 666. And no shocker, it's here. And then so when I'm on 18, I'll also keep an eye out for verse 18, because 18 plus 18 is 36, which is 3 6s, 666. And then that will help us understand context of what it's talking about. And so it's amazing, because in verse 18, it's they prevented me in the day of my calamity, but the Lord was my stay. And so that's the times that we're living in now. And so to me, like, these things help us, give us clues, here and there. It's not the only thing to look for, but I would pay attention to where verses are placed, and it gives us a sense of the time periods, and especially because we see 666 all over the place right now. It helps us understand certain passages in the Bible. So Psalms 18, again, the sequence of the end times is salvation, a time of wrath, Christ returning with his elect to destroy, and then the kingdom. And then we'll see that here. Psalms 18, I will love thee, O Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer. First thing, my God, my strength, in whom I will trust, my buckler and the horn of my salvation and my high tower. And so right away, second verse, we see deliverer, salvation right off the bat. So check. I will call upon the Lord, who is worthy to be praised, so I shall be saved from my enemies. And so again, we're talking about salvation here. The sorrows of death compassed me, and the floods of ungodly men made me afraid. And so we're going to see a time where a group of people feel surrounded, everywhere, every which direction, looking up and looking around and up. And we see that right now. The sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me. And so death and hell are interchangeable, and one-to-one, in the sense that whenever you have death, you have hell. And whenever it's referencing hell, it's a place that things will die. And so that's again here. And so you see that many times in the Bible, not every time, but quite a few times you see death and hell together, and certainly in the book of Revelation, where death and hell are going to be cast into the lake of fire. And so death represents the body and hell represents this earth. And so that's happening, in the end times. And so the sorrows of hell is around a human, a person here on earth, and that kind of thing. It's not like David's in hell and then the sorrows of hell are around him or something like that. Like, he's in heaven, but hell is around him, and all that kind of stuff. And then death is around him in a spirit world, really. Does that make any sense? Read that again. The sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me. And so he's talking about himself, and so he's not in hell or anything like that. That's ridiculous. So this, again, I've done a video. I can put the link below that all 54 references of hell in the Bible refer to a physical place. That's very, very clear. And so David knows that, and then God's elect know that. And so the only people that are going to be saved are people that are aware of that. No one's going to be taken away who enjoy it here. Why would God do that? Why would God take somebody away who actually wants to be here? And so it should go without saying. Verse 6, in my distress I called upon the Lord, because they know that they're in hell, and they're surrounded by hell, and that kind of thing. And cried out unto my God. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even into his ears. And so Christ is not in a temple in Israel or anything like that. This is in a spiritual temple, in the spirit world. And so this, again, is one of the many, many proofs that, Christ does not dwell in a physical temple, and all that. And so he's a spirit, and so his temple is of a spiritual dwelling. And we're reminded of that here. And God hears the voice of his elect. And so that's also said here. And so that's in verse 6, in the times that we live in now, 666. Verse 7, then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations also of the hills moved and were shaken, because he was wroth. And so now salvation's done, and now we're going to see Christ answering and what happens when he does. And so we expect to see wrath, and we already have that. There went up smoke from out of his nostrils, and fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens also. Bowed, like he curved the heavens also, and came down and darkness was under his feet. And so this is also a reference to the fact that we live on a flat plane with like a arced ceiling, the firmament. And so just know that. And so that's another flat earth, reference and that kind of thing. And this is also telling us here, and darkness was under his feet, meaning that this is a time where God is bringing wrath, to the earth. And so the wrath is explicitly listed in Revelation 16. So just know that. And he rode upon a cherub and did fly. Yea, he did fly upon the wings of the wind. It's Christ returning on these UFOs. He made darkness his secret place, his pavilion round about him were dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. At the brightness that was before him, his thick clouds passed, hailstones and coals of fire. The Lord also thundered in the heavens, and the highest gave his voice, hailstones and coals of fire. Yea, he sent out of his arrows and scattered them, and he shot out lightnings and discomfited them. So now we're talking about arrows being shot. And so this is America being destroyed, and these arrows are coming from the other nations, but definitely Iran, because that's fulfillment of Jeremiah 50 verse 9. And so just be aware of that. And so these are all consistent with other places that we talk about what God's wrath is going to be specifically, and starting with America. Then the channels of the waters were seen, and the foundations of the world were discovered at thy rebuke, O Lord, at the blast of the breath of thy nostrils. And so that's also a reference to Revelation 16, in one of the plagues. Verse 16, he sent from above, he took me, he drew me out of many waters. Verse 17, he delivered me from my strong enemy, and from them which hated me, for they were too strong for me. Who can make war with this beast? They prevented me in the day of my calamity, but the Lord was my stay. And so this is the day, this is verse 18. So 18 is 36. It's a day of calamity or tribulation. And so just know that. But the elect are taken out prior to great tribulation. Just be aware of that. Verse 19, he brought me forth also into a large place and delivered me because he delighted in me. The Lord rewarded me according to my righteousness. According to the cleanness of my hands hath he recompensed me. Come out of her, my people. Don't be partakers of her sins. And so this is that cleansing that's happening here. Verse 21, for I have kept the ways of the Lord, and have not wickedly departed from my God. For all his judgments were before me, and I did not put away his statutes from me. I was also upright before him, and I kept myself from mine iniquity. Verse 24, therefore hath the Lord recompensed me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands in his eyesight. That's verse 24, 2:4. That's for God's elect. Verse 25, with the merciful thou wilt show thyself merciful. With an upright man thou wilt show thyself upright. Verse 26, with the pure thou wilt show thyself pure, and with the froward thou wilt show thyself froward. Verse 27, for thou wilt save the afflicted people, but will bring down high looks. For thou wilt light my candle, the Lord my God will enlighten my darkness. For by thee I have run through a troop, and by my God I have leaped over a wall. So now we're talking about Christ returning with his elect. And so just know that. And so we're going to see now references to Christ equipping and empowering his elect to go and destroy his left-hand side. And so we're going to see that. That's what is being talked about here. For by thee I have run through a troop, and by my God I have leaped over a wall. So they're going to be given spiritual powers. Verse 30, as for God, his way is perfect. The word of the Lord is tried. He is a buckler to all those that trust in him. Verse 31, for who is God save the Lord? Or who is a rock save our God? It is God that girdeth me with strength, and maketh my way perfect. He maketh my feet like hinds' feet, and setteth me upon high places. This is when Christ returns with his elect, the holy mountain. He maketh my feet like hinds' feet, and setteth me on high places. Verse 34, he teacheth my hands to war, so that a bow of steel is broken by mine arms. And so now God is again equipping his elect to fight, in this battle in the Middle East. Verse 35, thou hast also given me the shield of thy salvation, and thy right hand hath holden me up, and thy gentleness had made me great. Thou hast enlarged my steps under me, that my feet did not slip. I have pursued my enemies and overtaken them. Neither did I turn again until they were consumed. And this consuming is going to be with fire. I have wounded them that they were not able to rise. They are fallen under my feet. This is literal. This is Christ returning with his elect in these quote unquote UFOs, and they're going to be destroying everybody, literally underneath their feet. Verse 39, for thou hast girded me with strength unto the battle. This is the battle in the Middle East. Thou hast subdued under me those that rose up against me. Verse 40, thou hast also given me the necks of mine enemies, that I might destroy them that hate me. So they're going to be killed here on earth. And so this is not in the spirit world or in the kingdom of heaven. And look at these retards teach, like end times teacher and Obadiah's judgment, all these baboons. Verse 41, they cried, but there was none to save them, even unto the Lord, but he answered them not. They already have the mark of the beast. It's too late. Verse 42, then did I beat them small as dust before the wind. I did cast them out as dirt in the streets. So they're going to be deleted, body and soul. Thou hast delivered me from the strivings of the people, and thou hast made me the head of the heathen. A people whom I have not known shall serve me. Now we're getting references to the kingdom of heaven. And so the sequence is always the same. It's always salvation. It's always wrath, destruction, definitely in America. And then it's Christ returning with his elect, and then they're going to be doing the killing. And then it's always the kingdom of heaven after. And so where there's peace, and where the other nations, the quote-unquote heathen, will serve the elect, and all the elect serve Christ. And so this is, again, what's being taught here, and it's right on schedule, right on cue. As soon as they hear of me, they shall obey me. The strangers shall submit themselves unto me. And so this is going to be a righteous leadership, righteous rulership, according to God's laws. And there's going to be no arguing or debate. Oh, I have an opinion. I think Christ is white, or what? All these like stupid ideas. I think Mystery Babylon is the Vatican. I think the earth is a ball, and all that. It's going to be God's way, or that's it. There's no two options at this point. And so just know that. Verse 44, as soon as they hear of me, this is verse 44, this is for God's elect. As soon as they hear of me, they shall obey me. The stranger shall submit themselves unto me. And then this is the God's elect ruling over the mixed multitude, from all nations. Verse 45, the stranger shall fade away and be afraid out of their closed places. The Lord liveth, and blessed be my rock, and let the Lord God of my salvation be exalted. It is God that avengeth me, and subdueth the people under me. He delivereth me from my enemies. Yea, thou liftest me up above those that rise up against me. Thou hast delivered me from the violent man. And we see that in the times that we live in now. Therefore I will give thanks unto thee, O Lord, among the heathen, and sing praise unto thy name. Verse 50, great deliverance giveth he to his king, and showeth mercy to his anointed, to David, and to his seed forevermore. And so this is the sequence of the end times, and so this to me is an amazing thing. It will never be violated, and really it's the DNA, it's the quote-unquote code, it's the template that you need to really unlock everything in the Bible, because this will not make sense. It's not that it's necessarily confusing just reading it, but you won't know when this is going to happen, and all that kind of stuff. And then the Hebrews will go and pervert these very scriptures and say, oh no, that killing, that empowering of God's elect is going to happen in the kingdom of heaven, which is blasphemous, because that's not what's taught there. That's going to happen there because we're taught that at the end. And so then a person could go, and again, like has happened really throughout human history, and I see it everywhere, go and take the Bible and manipulate it, and make it into something else. And so really, if you're not given this template, this sequence, the whole Bible doesn't make sense. And so I know that sequence has to happen, or the Bible's not true, because it's literally everywhere. And so, it's littered throughout the Psalms, and I'm just building a video catalog of where it is, and it's everywhere. And so it's not to sound arrogant, but if the Bible is true, this sequence is going to be the way it's going to go down. Hope everyone's doing well. Bye.